Hello and good whatever it is, wherever you're watching. I'm back. It's me, Christopher McLeod, AKA Diagnostic 80, with a Full Force News Burst special unboxing here in sunny Honey, United Kingdom. And yes, I have got the halogen lights out again, so it is sweaty up in here. Hope everyone's doing well. Yes, today we are going to be unboxing these two beauties. We've got Crimson Viper and Desert Commando Snake Eyes. Crimson Viper, of course, being one of the latest 5-figure wave of figures, and Desert Commando Snake Eyes kind of being the exclusive, or like the, I don't know what you would call it now. I've completely forgotten. But effectively, yeah, it was like a, not part of the 5-figure wave, but obviously part of that reveal as well. So kind of like the ASOP code word that had me very confused for very long. And of course, this would be Twain. Crimson Viper, if for anyone paying attention to that stuff. But yeah, we'll be busting into these today. And then hopefully tomorrow, I'll have a PulseCon preview episode that we're going to go live with tomorrow, which should be fun. Probably around the afternoon in the UK, so people can actually watch it this time. And hopefully another unboxing. We've got Tunnel Rat and Grunt. And of course, we've got Firefly and Low Light. And then we've got Tripwire and the Eels as well. So there's a lot of figures to get through still. I think that's everything. Is that everything? These two, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that's right, I think. I think that's right. In any case, lots of figures to get stuck into. But today we are getting into these two beauts. Kind of like the repaints, I guess. Although Snake Eyes is kind of a kit bash repaint, and the Viper is a straight up repaint. But we'll begin getting into those today. How is everyone doing in the comments? Who have we got today? Penny Rooster says, I was just at the end of this morning's stream. Nice, good timing. Michael Jean Fleming, it's a full force double flanking maneuver today. Yes, it is. I've been told I'm a bit of a flanker. And Philly, yo back again, Chris. Lol, you're definitely on vacay. Which one is first, Christopher? I wonder, Christopher Ivy. I'm going to go with the Viper first. Don't worry about that. Road Pig John says, hello, Diagnostic. Hello, Road Pig John. Awesome. Right then, so let's get stuck into it then. We'll start with the Crimson Viper. Ow. So yeah, let's do this one first. Good morning, Joe. Ed says, did I actually make a live stream? Yes. Mark says, hey, Chris, not melting today. No, it's not. It's actually really nice out. It's a beautiful day, but I might be melting later with these lights around me. What's really sad, yes, the day before yesterday when I did that first unboxing in this room with the lights that I pulled out of my barn, they've been in storage for a few years, should we just say. I didn't notice until halfway through this is really sad, actually. I didn't notice until halfway through the stream that there was a dead mouse in the bottom of this light box. It must have crawled in there at some point in between, like, you know, the 3 odd years that it had been in storage, and either sheltered there for a little while, or it'd been in there for a while because there were droppings inside as well. But I didn't notice until like halfway through the stream, and then I saw the silhouette at the bottom of this light box. Don't worry, they've been fully cleaned now. But how sad is that? Poor little thing. So he's been buried outside, the poor little bugger. And yeah, so that was a bit of a shock halfway through, and I didn't let on because I was kind of like, oh, I hope it doesn't like cook in the heat of the light. But thankfully, I managed to sort it all out, clean it. Thanks to Mum as well. Mum jumped on and helped to sort all that out. I know it's gross as well, isn't it? It was the real Tunnel Rat, Philly. Yeah, it'd been in there for a while, so I don't think he got stuck because there's like a way in and out quite easily with these lights. But anyway, they've been fully cleaned and everything now, so don't worry, I'm not going to get any sort of mouse disease. Anyway, let's get on to the real thing that we're here for, and that is this one first. Yes, it's Crimson Viper. We'll start with the box. And of course, we have this. I really like this render on the front here. I think it looks really cool. Lots of interesting things going on. So maybe they're attacking or they're defending this installation. But we've got landed Sky Strikers, and in-flight Sky Strikers as well. So there's a definite like present, like an airfield sort of scenario going on here. You can kind of see numbers on there too. I wonder if that is. Yeah, it's definitely just like an airfield in the middle of nowhere. We've got the Entertainment Earth. We've got Extensive Enterprises building in the background there. So I wonder if they are protecting this from the Joes, which are kind of like coming in and infiltrating, or if they are trying to take this installation. But it's an interesting little narrative going on there, and I'd like to know more about what's happening. But some nice little kind of nods to Extensive Enterprises, to the Sky Striker and what have you. We've got the loadout for the figure there, and the nice little artwork as well with the magazine in hand. And on this side, we can see that a little bit clearer as well. Number 85 for anyone keeping track. I know a lot of you do. Mark is just here for the mouse talk. Brilliant. Lolly sticks as a little mouse headstone. I know we should do that, shouldn't we? But yeah, honestly, it was really sad. I felt really bad afterwards, but I'm just glad I was able to notice it. Otherwise, we'd have done about however many unboxings, and that probably would have started smelling a little bit funny. Thankfully, I can't tell because I already smell pretty funny as it is. And on the side here, we have the QR code that goes to the G.I. Joe Hasbro web store site at the moment, the G.I. Joe shop part of it. And guess what? I didn't actually look at these beforehand. They're all too blooming small anyway. Infantry, I forget what the ammunition one is. A Master at Arms, maybe. Strength was the punch. And night ops, possibly. Night missions. Interesting for the bright red Crimson Viper. That's very interesting. But anyway, cool. And then we've got the render on the back, of course, showing you what you're getting. I like that they went with the blue neckerchief, actually. I think that was quite a nice idea to give it another little color pop on there, not just be all red. You know, there's different things going on with that color and that deco, which we'll look at in a second. They've decided to highlight the pouches on the secondary, and on here, the grenades on the secondary. So they're just pointing out the secondaries on this one, aren't they? Anyway, that is the box. Still don't know if that might be an Oliver Barrett. It's got Oliver Barrett vibes, but it could be one of, I think, two at the moment that I think are doing the artwork. It's either Oliver or someone else, and I always forget who the someone else is, but I know they've got a couple of guys on the artwork at the moment. Let's pop the box open here. Now, of course, the thing is with the Viper, I decided to do these two figures kind of not first because we did the Valkyries first, but I got those first, so it just felt like it was the right order to do it in. But I decided to go with these two first because we are dealing with what is effectively a full-on repaint and a kit batch repaint. So I figured we get those ones kind of done because there's, not technically anything new really to look at other than the deco. But we'll start with the accessories that come in. Of course, this classic now black weapons crate, Crimson Viper on one side, the logo on the other, and of course the number 85 on there too. And on this side with the handle is, and we'll bust this open, pull out the crisp packet. Yeah, just the one crisp packet in this one. It's not like was it the Valkyries had two crisp packets? Well, they had a lot of stuff, so makes sense. Joe Barrett says, loving the Crimson Viper. Well, good. We'll be looking at it very shortly. I know a lot of you already have this figure. That's, I get that. This was actually already open one side by, I think it just hadn't been fused properly, and I opened it in the other side, so I've ripped it for no reason. What a shame. Pour all that out. Yeah, and it's pretty much exactly what it says on the tin. Let's just double check we've got everything. That. But do we have it? Yeah, I think that's everything. Rifle, pistol, neckerchief, backpack, goggles. Right, cool. Let's go through these bit by bit then. First off, we have the goggles. These are the long ones that obviously stretch over the helmet. Nothing different really, I don't think. Nothing crazy about that. Then we have the rifle with the removable magazine. I just pulled that out. It actually comes connected, but this is the kind of like futuristic rifle for the Viper with this magazine that just plops in there. And there you have it. that is that. Looks pretty cool. I do like that rifle design. Are you guys a fan of this one? I don't know. It kind of like has a mixture of like future, but also does look like it could be like, you know, a modern day kind of rifle as well. We also have the blaster, the pistol, which has more of a Nerf feel to it, doesn't it? The blaster with that kind of fat end, Kitty said. But again, quite like those. I like those blasters. We've got the neckerchief, which is in this kind of actually more purple than blue when I look at it on screen. And when I look at it kind of like in hand, actually, it's kind of like it's definitely closer to purple than it is to blue. So I quite like that, that kind of addition into the color scheme. And then we've got the really sexy and very highly detailed backpack with the red, the grays, a light gray and a dark gray, black as well. So there's a lot of deco hits on this backpack, and I like that. Like the little clips on the sides and the top, they're black. You've got this kind of like piece down the middle, which is kind of like that kind of crimson red. You've got the black logo and rope. You've got those kind of like lighter gray, I guess, like gas grenades. More straps on the bottom there, which are black, and then the rest of it's that dark grey colour. So I like that they've gone to town a little bit on deco hits on the backpack. How are we doing for stream quality? I hope it's okay. I'm getting that logo appearing a lot, so hopefully it's standing up. We've also got the figure. I should have done the is he asleep or is he awake maneuver, but he looks very much awake. The red is very, very nice on this particular version of the Viper. You can see the black and white image behind him as well of his artwork. This is actually the plastic ties, which I can't stand. I much prefer the twisty paper ones because they just come out so easy. I'm not a fan necessarily of the plastic ones, which I will actually probably keep intact as I try and slide everything out. Yeah, just slide in the hands and the feet out. It's much easier than trying to clip those. Yeah, there we go. So the actual plastic kind of ties are actually still in there. I'm not sure if you can see them. Probably can't actually with the, but they're not undone. So that's kept that nice and neat. Just fold that back into itself. There we go. And we've got the nice black and white artwork there. Lovely stuff. Stream quality is mostly fine. Thank you, Mark. That's good to know. It's one of those things where I'm obviously going to have to kind of rethink how I do unboxings. I'll probably start doing them pre-recorded so that I know that the quality is going to be good. But I kind of like doing the live unboxings. The problem is getting like an internet connection anywhere that is strong enough to hold the kind of stream quality. So straight away, this figure, I mean, it's a Viper. It's amazing. I really like how it looks. I love this color. The secondary's got kind of like a different red, almost like a burgundy, compared to the body and arms and legs red, which is a little kind of softer, a little brighter. And then you've got lots of the kind of black and the gray and the silver logo there. The chrome, well, not chrome, but as close as they can get to chrome on the helmet, with little black kind of like accents there and on the back too. Again, you can see all the nice little details on there. Stream quality is mostly fine, said Mark, but it's the content we can't improve, sadly. That's a shame, isn't it? I don't know, it's all jokes, right? I hope. So yeah, very nice. It's a great figure, and again, out of the box, nice and sturdy, kind of like joints and everything. This one is a good poser for army building as well, and yeah, he looks good. Let's get him geared up. So first of all, we will, and I don't have another Viper near me, unfortunately, to compare. Had I done this, had I been doing this in the US, of course, I'd have just grabbed all the Vipers and we would have had a look. Actually, would I have done? I am quite famous now for just forgetting to get comparisons of the other figures. Now, this one, I do have an issue with the backpack sometimes on the Viper build, but it's gone in there and it seems to be quite tight in there. I can't even twist it without it kind of, catching that friction. So the backpack is as huge as it is and as bulky as it is, it's staying in there nice and tight. So that's good. We've got the pistol, which is going in his side holster on his right thigh there. And I'm going to give him, well, let's put his goggles over the top of the helmet like so. I know a lot of people had some issues with the goggles, like, snapping and stuff like that, but I have never had that issue, he says, and I wonder if it would happen now. That'd be quite funny, wouldn't it? But no, I've never had that issue with any of the Vipers, and I've got all of them, the 3-pack, the original Cobra Island one, the kind of, what was the other one? Python Patrol. I've got all of them, and I've never had any issues with the goggles, and it goes on nice and solid there, and it stays on there, which is nice. So the goggles now is like complete. Doesn't look right without them, does it? Doesn't quite look right there. Sound is fine, video is generally fine, just a mini freeze every now and again, nothing to worry about overly. Thank you, Mark, I appreciate that. So put the rifle in his hand, and it's that funny handle that's got like almost like just a hole that you have to get the thumb through on the back. But yeah, that's cool. There he is, all geared up, our Crimson Viper. Now, again, this is like, probably going to be more impactful as a figure with multiple Crimson Vipers and the rest of the Crimson kind of squad. PulseCon around the corner. We've got the preview obviously coming very soon. Tomorrow, I'll be doing the PulseCon preview. And we'll be talking about the Baroness and the twins again. Of course, we just have the promo images for those. So there's a lot of Crimson figures to kind of be like lumping together, and a bunch of these guys together is going to look pretty cool, along with Crimson Guards and Crimson Bats and the Crimson Twins and Baroness. Who else have we got? Crimson Alley Viper. So there's a lot of cool subline Crimson figures that these, they're going to look pretty cool with as like this new army, basically, which is pretty cool. So yeah, and I would expect at some point a red Cobra Commander, wouldn't you? Maybe in that kind of the retro one they're doing for the HasLab. I would imagine them to do that in red. Crimson Troopers, ? Have we had Crimson Troopers? Have I missed that? No, we haven't, have we? But that's probably something else that might happen in the future. Unless I'm just not thinking properly. Anyway, so yeah, the Crimson Viper, ever so lovely stuff. Again, and let's just take the gauntlets off to see if the neck matches the the carpet matches the drapes, because there have been issues with some Vipers. I think in the 3-pack mainly, where the neck skin tone didn't match the arm, the forearm skin tone. It looks like it does match here, which is good, but I'll just show you guys once I've taken the gauntlet off, which is on there. Well, it is on there so much, I don't think I can take it off. Well, I can't take it off easily, but you can probably see in there that the skin tone is a light skin tone, much like the neck, which you can't see now because of the, there you can see it kind of there. So yeah, the skin tone matches. Yeah, I can't take those off easily, so I'm not going to try and faff about with it on screen. But yeah, the skin tone matches, it would appear, and the hands go on nice and solid as well. Yeah, I'm feeling the same kind of issue with the backpack that I get with the other Vipers. Now it's in there now, but a second ago I just kind of like put some pressure on it and it popped in a bit more, and I thought, oh, I wonder if it had been like, if it had come out a little bit, but I think we're okay. Yeah, it seems to be on there pretty sturdily. Watch him fall off now. No, it seems to be on there pretty sturdily. It hasn't actually come out, so that's good. Yeah, maybe the Viper wasn't a problem then, but I definitely had some issues with a lot of the backpacks in the line, and hopefully they're making changes to ensure that they stay on nice and securely. It looks good though. I love this deco, and it's not just red. Do you know what I mean? It's not just red. Let's just do it all red. It's kind of like a nice, different types of tones of red all over. Obviously broken up with the black and the gray as well, and the silver. So yeah, and the purple as well, and then the neckerchief. I'm still annoyed. The worst thing about the Vipers for me isn't necessarily the backpack now, unfortunately. It's the fact that the Python Viper doesn't come with a neckerchief. I feel that was such a weird, removal Do like a yellow one. Perfect for the Python Viper. No, left it off completely. So kind of looks a little bit unfinished, bit naked. But anyway, I'm excited to put all these Vipers together. Kevjil says the backpacks are way too heavy, and I think you got a point there. They are pretty chunky and heavy. And yeah, if you just thin some of the mass in these backpacks, like not hollow them out completely, but take some of that from the inside out, you'd probably end up with a much lighter, more manageable kind of backpack. But yeah, I can imagine that it has issues with balance when the backpacks. No, he stands up nicely. Actually, I say that, but he stood up like I literally just put him down and he stood up immediately. So I don't think there's I don't think there's an issue there. You can't see it, but he's standing up. Yeah. So, but even so, when you've got that backpack, it's going to want to pull you backwards, isn't it? That scarf is going for my infantry. I like the thought of that. That's a good idea, actually. Crimson Duke, Crimson Snake Eyes. I don't know, Super Saiyan, but you just take the head off, put that like they're kind of in disguise Vipers kind of scenario, couldn't you? Better crimson than yellow. Nah, I'm a massive Python Patrol fan. I'm Python Patrol over Crimson Strike Team all day long. The red almost makes this feel like Mercer before he switched sides. Wonder how long we'll have to wait before his head is put on this mold. Well, Robert H., I could imagine that I feel like Mercer would happen eventually. Like we'll get Mercer, Taurus, Red Dog, etc. I think they would do something different with him. I think they would obviously, utilize like a different build, etc., etc. But they might do some sort of rejigged secondary that matches the Viper. I could see them doing something like that, but I don't know. They might want to just do him, a bit further away from that, and then just have like the usual things that were on the original figure, because it's not like he was wearing Viper gear. Really, it isn't like a direct copy, if you know what I mean, on the vintage figure. But yeah, they could have him rocking a few elements, and then effectively it would just be up to you to put the head on a Viper, and I think that would be well good. Crimson Red Shadow, says Talking Joe. Brilliant. Genius. Crimson Blue Ninja. That's even better. Backpacks with straps would be amazing. And I think you're right. You're so right. I got all excited when we saw those prototype images, or like a bunch of prototype pieces show up with that kind of helmet that's not been identified yet. And all the other kind of bits and bobs. And there was that backpack in there, but it was a Black Series backpack, which was a bit of a disappointment because I was thinking, oh, they're going to start doing straps. No, that was a shame. Super Zion, like Indiana Jones, film of Marvel Legends, Peter Parker and his friend Tupac, if I'm not mistaken. The backpack with straps. Yes, totally. I mean, they do them for Super 7 as well, which has been mentioned by Road Pig John. You need to review Super 7 Ultimates Wave 2, man. I only have Flint at the moment, and I keep, not that I keep forgetting, but I didn't have time. I didn't have the time to do it. So when I get back, I will definitely try and bust into Flint when I get home. I pre-ordered one, but I'm thinking it would be great to add at least one more. I wish Hasbro makes more like Desert Viper with black, brown, and beige tones, a la Desert Snake Eyes. Yeah, I'd like to, because obviously we've got precedent with the desert and kind of like winter, kind of Arctic packs from the 4-inch kind of like modern era. So yeah, I think that would be pretty cool to do like desert, themed Vipers, and maybe throw in a desert blood like there was in that set, and an Arctic scrap iron and stuff like that. That'd be so dope. Wilfredo, I pre-ordered one, but I'm thinking it would be great to. Yeah, sorry, I just read that. What was wrong with me? Thank you, Wilfredo, for that comment. Ropey John, before you interview Brian Flynn, you have to review that wave so you can ask him questions related to them, if you like them or not, or if you noticed a few things that are not supposed to be, like paint, like the painted faces. I mean, that's something we've already discussed. We've already discussed on the last interview. But yeah, I mean, I will. I mean, I was kind of going by what I'd seen anyway online, so I don't think it's going to make much difference seeing it in person. Yeah, and I kind of feel like it's been covered. Like we've talked about that now, and like my next interview with Brian is going to be concentrating on you know, like the after kind of effects of SDCC and stuff like that, and like the you know, that massive reaction scale Cobra airship, what the plans are with that kind of thing, and also future waves of ultimates and things like that. And the reaction, there's been loads of reaction stuff so since then. So yeah, we've got a lot to talk about, but I don't think we'll cover Ultimates Wave 2 again, because like I said, we've already done that. Cheese Viper repaint yellow with orange straps. Gross. I like it. Do you have a wish list besides the Ice Cream Soldier and the Night Creepers? Lols. Oh God, do I have a wish list for classified? I guess I do. Version 2 Storm Shadow. I think the digital camo Storm Shadow needs to happen. And version 4 Snake Eyes, the kind of paintball Snake Eyes that everyone quaffs at, but I absolutely adore. And then after those, it's going to be characters like Airtight, because I think Airtight is a great. He's just one of those, like, you know, almost like core characters. He's like, for me anyway, especially for Action Force monthly and weekly reader back in the day. And then, well, you just mentioned it there, Mark, jokingly, but the Crimson Black Major, that's hilarious. But I would love them to delve into characters like Baron Ironblood, Black Major, Red Jackal, Red Laser, that sort of thing. I think that would be pretty cool as well. Yeah, so my wish list, you know, Lightfoot's always going to be on it, obviously. Like, Lightfoot's always going to be there or thereabouts for me as a character I'd love to see in Classified. I just don't know how practical that is. And then there's Pythona is another one. I'd love to see Pythona. I think she would make a phenomenal Classified figure. I think Iron Grenadier's Destro is another one I'd love to see, specifically with his despoiler. I think that would be dope as a figure vehicle kind of combo. There's many more though. Oh, Hit and Run, 100%, but Tiger Force, pre-paint Tiger Force. Lifeline is another one. Raptor, Crystal Ball. They're eclectic choices for the most part, but I don't know. I'm just kind of drawn to those as Classified figures because they would have so much detail and personality, and you know, I can see them being real quality. Anyway, anywho, that's probably my wish list right now, Super Saiyan. But there's loads. I mean, all of them. Night Creepers, please and thank you. Version 1s and version 2s. Ninja Force Zartan, Ninja Force Scarlet. I mean, Ninja Force Snake Eyes. I'll take another 17 Snake Eyes, please and thank you. Anyway, that is Crimson Viper. Let's move on to Desert Commando Snake Eyes, which I'm actually very excited to bust open because this was one of those things where we didn't know this was coming. We had a code word, an internal code word in the system, in the leaked listings, called ASOP, and couldn't for the life of me work out what it was. We did find out that it was going to be a redeco, but it wasn't clear what it was going to be. So this was a very nice surprise, genuinely. And I love the deco, and I loved what the figure looked like and all the renders. So I'm kind of excited to see this one. Now, on the box, we've got the kind of helicopter in the background. We're in the desert now, obviously, because it's Desert Commando Snake Eyes. You've got these kind of little kind of hut kind of buildings in the background, and there you can see a cheeky Storm Shadow. Now, a lot of people have asked, is this like the cancelled website kind of, you know, evergreen Storm Shadow that they designed first and made its way to Operation Blackout and the website and other media and Titan figures and everything? No, I don't think it is. I think it is just a generic Storm Shadow in the distance, very much probably like the figure we have already, kind of like to tie that figure into the narrative. I don't think it's got anything. I don't think it's something new. I don't think it's the Yakuza style one. It's just way off, I think, what, especially looking at it from here and looking at it close up, I just don't see it being that particular Storm Shadow. But it's pretty cool still in the background to have that, and it's Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes, so of course it'll have Storm Shadow in the background. Of course, they're intrinsically linked for the rest of their lives. The love the deco on the figure render. I think it looks awesome. The sword is not, they don't do the sword justice with how cool it looks with that orange half back blade thing. The artwork is really sexy. And I love that head sculpt is dope. This is the retro head sculpt on the deluxe or retail body. That body's been utilized a few times, Fortnite as well. But the head is obviously from Retro Snake Eyes, which is pretty, or Alpha, no, it is Retro Snake Eyes, isn't it? Retro cardback Snake Eyes. The Alpha Commandos one is completely different. Well, it's similar, but it's completely different, if that makes any sense. And then on the back, we've got the render layout, and they've highlighted his gun in holster, his pistol in his holster, and his, randomly, not even on his body, but the grenade secondary, which obviously comes off. But it's funny that they've not done the render of it on the actual body there. Do you know what I mean? It's just literally just taken from there. So that's interesting. Most of those images, they're usually the figure, like the actual figure with the, the side shoulder showing a tampo or something. But the top image they've highlighted is taken strictly, directly from this figure render on the front. And like I said, the grenade belt bandolier has been taken just directly from that. So interesting that that's what they've called out on there. Weapons-wise, he comes with the backpack, the sword, the sheath, the bandolier, another sword, the Uzi, the pistol with suppressor, and the knife. So that's nice to know. Let's bust into it, because I really do want to get into this. But yeah, it was great that we just didn't know this was coming. It was a full-on surprise, and we were really happy, or I was certainly very happy that it turned out to be something as cool as this. Because yes, we've had this figure many, many times in different kind of ways and colors, but I don't know. Snake Eyes bandolier belt, you mean? Yeah, the grenade belt. And I said bandolier as well. What are you getting at? Okay, anyway, Desert Commando Snake Eyes with his weapons crate 92. Didn't mention that before, but that's what number he is. Let's get his crisp packet out. Just the one again. This time for Snake Eyes. Just going to make sure it's not open one side already like the other one was. No, it's not. Crisp packet style. Oh, that opened nice and easy. So maybe it had a similar situation going on as Crimson Viper did. So that is there. And it looks like we've got everything. We've got La Bandolier. Yep. We've got the backpack. We've got a very bendy sword sheath. Hopefully the sword's also very bendy. So weird that the sword and the sword sheath, they weren't even connected. You'll see in a second. Yeah, got the pistol, got the Uzi, and got the knife. That's a shame because this is the thing I was most excited for. I haven't touched it. Look at that. This is the thing I was most excited for in this set. There's the orange sword, and it is absolutely bent over, and it wasn't even awkwardly packed or anything. How is it doing this every time to all the weapons? Okay, I'm going to try and just gently bend that back. I'm going to have to apply heat on this, I think, to even have it return to any form of glory. I mean, it's still a bit woblo. Bit Roblo, a bit of a curve in there. That is such a shame. That is very disappointing. And look at the sheath. Look at the sheath. That's a hillock. It's so bendy. So yeah, that's a shame. Because like I said, I was really looking forward to that. I'm going to put it in the sheath and probably, I don't know, will I use it again? I think so, but I'll probably just stick it on his backpack and hope that eventually it just kind of bends into the right position. That is a shame, and obviously that's my only concern with the current classified figures is the bendy weapons. It just seems like it just seems like that is a very simple fix. Do you know what I mean? It's like, let's not use that plastic anymore. Let's use a stronger durometer of plastic for the weapons because it seems to be such an issue. And I don't know why it's not being kind of like, well, I know there's that thing where it takes, there's an element of time that a fix or a change in production, there is, it takes time to kind of sort something like that out. In the meantime, it's going to go on the backpack like so. And yes, it's curved, but it almost like works with the backpack shape. It's so weird. But I don't think I'll be utilizing that sword, unfortunately. What a shame, eh? What a shame. Backpack's nice in the brown. Again, I like this backpack. It's got a lot of detail to it. We've seen this all before, though. Durometer, yes, that is the technical term for the hardness of plastic, I believe. Yeah, that's true. It is a simple fix. I can put some heat on it. I can apply some heat to it, and it should be fine. But I don't know. It just seems a little bit bendy. I'm not a massive fan of the plastic for this stuff for the accessories. But the pistol and suppressor are totally fine and not bendy in any way, shape, or form. And it's got a nice bit of deco on the handle. Very cool. So yeah, that's a very nice pistol and suppressor. We've got a beautiful Uzi here. Again, no issues with the bendiness here, and some lovely two-tone color on there. Beautiful stuff. We've got the knife with the tan handle, and again, no real issues there. It's, with the blade and everything, very nice, not a problem at all. And we've got this sword, which is perfectly straight, like a blimmin'. Look at that. That's straighter than straight. That took all the straightness from that one. They could have shared a bit of the straightness there, couldn't they, in the blade? But this is a nice sword, and I like the kind of like brown handle on that too. That's a nice little touch. Yeah, some nice deco hits on these. We've got the bandolier with the grenades on it. Again, different colored grenades, which is nice, like the tan, light tan, and then the brown kind of strap with the backpack hole in it to line it up. And of course, we've already seen the backpack and the bendiest sword in human history. Now we're going to see Snake Eyes. Boop. Again, I forgot to do the is he asleep or is he awake thing, but he's well awake. Oh, that's actually really, really cool. He looks so good. Oh, and there's a couple of cool little additions on this one that I forgot about. We've got an oddly not highlighted on the back of the box. You'd think they would highlight the tampo on the shoulder, which is very cool. And I think it's a mongoose. Is it a mongoose? I can't remember. Something cool. No, I remember now. I got it wrong last time. I said it was a mongoose last time, and someone went, "No, it's actually this." And I'm like, "Yeah, that makes more sense." And I've completely forgotten again what it is. I remember that whole back and forth, and I don't remember what the actual creature is on his shoulder. But there is Snake Eyes black and white artwork, and that is stunning, with a sword that I'm probably not going to use, unfortunately. But yeah, I'm liking this deco. That is pretty neat. Let's just sort him out for a second. Get him in a pose that doesn't look like he's been in a box his entire life. Yeah, again, this figure is one of my favorites from the line. I think the original kind of deluxe Snake Eyes is an absolute tour de force of G.I. Joe classified figures. So doing him in like this deco is just kind of really cool. I feel like there could be a version 4, very simple kind of simply done with the new Snake Eyes figure and that head, because that just very much looks like the version 4 Snake Eyes head to a degree. Again, I love the design. You can see all the details from this suit really way better than you can on the deluxe figure and on the retail figure because of the two-tone kind of coloring on there. There's a little bit of a mark on the back there. You might have seen that just above the backpack hole. Tiny little smudge. I'm not sure. I think that's probably a mark as opposed to like a bit of dirt. So yeah, not the best, but I'm not that fussed, honestly. Like he's going to be showing his blooming back at all, and his backpack's probably couldn't cover that anyway, so I'm not that fussed. The secondary belt's really cool as well with the two little. I do like this whole vibe. He's got the Arashikage logo on the belt in red. He's got this logo on the chest. I'm not sure if you can make that out actually. Maybe if I bring it back a touch more, but yeah, he's a really cool little logo on the chest. And it is that kind of like, I don't know, like almost like this is a Desert Operations sort of logo. It's pretty cool. And then we have the Tampo on the side, which it looks like a, what was it, guys? I've completely forgotten what the creature is, but I like that the Star and the Stripes logo is running underneath it. Do you remember what that was? Like a desert something? What is it? Has someone told me yet and I just missed it? It shouldn't need to be a fix the consumer needs to make, says James. Yeah, it doesn't really, it shouldn't be. That's why I think they need to fix it. I feel like the accessories and the rifles and the swords, they need to be made out of a stronger durometer of plastic. I totally agree. Katana needs some Viagra. Yeah, it kind of does, doesn't it? Would you suppose Desert Snake Eyes needed a desert poncho? I don't know. You could have put some like other cool desert-based things in there, but also, we had that one with Timber not long ago, right? And I still feel then I like the addition of stalkers like Shamak, but at the same time, could they not have done like a winter jacket for him? That would have made more sense, wouldn't it? It is a mongoose, is it? I said mongoose before, and someone corrected me. It is a maybe someone just confirmed it when I said mongoose, or maybe I said a different creature last time. But I did say mongoose at the beginning, so I'm glad that everyone thinks it is a mongoose. And in which case, yeah, they do deal with snakes, don't they? So yeah, okay, cool, very nice. I do like that Tampo though, very very cool. Let's gear him up, and I'll get to the rest of the comments in a second. I'll start by putting the bandolier on the correct way round, I guess, which looks to be on the front of the thing. Yeah, it goes across his. Yeah, that's what I was going to do. So that's good. Like I haven't seen this bandolier on the figure before. Like it's the first time I'm ever seeing this figure. Lining it up with the backpack hole, Kitty said, and then putting the backpack through both into the backpack peg in the figure, and that seems to be nice and lined up. I will say, like one of my only issues with the original deluxe figure was the fact the backpack kept kind of falling out. So that's in a bit tighter, but who knows, that might make way eventually. Let's put his pistol and silencer in his little holster there. So that can go in like that. I don't know how you guys do yours, but I usually put my suppressor in kind of like in the same direction that it would go in on the actual pistol, if that makes sense. So kind of like heading the same direction that it would be pointing with the pistol. And there's an interesting little kind of like imperfection on my silencer where the seam hasn't quite closed. Can you see that? Kind of like a little kind of couple of holes. That is not a purposeful. That's something where the seam hasn't quite closed completely. Again, worth kind of pointing out. There's only those two, on the back and that little thing, and of course the bendy sword, which isn't. It is a bit annoying. It is a bit annoying because I was so excited to have him holding that sword. So excited. And that was one of the reasons I really like this figure, was because of that sword. I'm just seeing if you can kind of put the other sword elsewhere, like in a little slot somewhere. Like maybe you can kind of put it in his belt, which is quite cool. Yeah, that's pretty neat. So I've kind of got his sword sheath down the side there. It's not supposed to go there, but I kind of like it by his side. I like gearing them up in a way that they don't have to carry a lot of stuff with their hands. So he's got the Uzi in his right hand. He's got the sword kind of slid into his belt. Everything else he's got kind of like stored on his person, including the bendiest sword in the world on a backpack on the hole in the side. And lo and behold, as I mentioned it before, the backpack is sliding out. And I'm not sure what to do about that. Yeah, that is not going in very strong. Do you guys have that kind of issue with this snake eyes? Because that's what I'm having at the moment. Also, there we go. So if I'll just kind of get him like half geared up, and then we can see. There we go. There he is. Looks beautiful though. I love the color on those goggles. Stunning. I do like the light tan and the brown kind of mixture. There's a lot of nice colors on this particular figure. I do love this version of him. And there's your sword and sheath and everything. So he's geared up and he's literally like holding everything. Let's see what you're saying in the comments. Since that's the same body as the Red Ninja and Blue, maybe they can add a different head and add a different vest and make them Ninja Troopers. Possibly. Super Saiyan. Possibly. Lightfoot says Mongoose. Yep. Yeah, Ninja Desert Troopers for that mold, says the figure 6-pack. That would be pretty cool. Mark says, can't figure out the Tampo. A Mongoose snake killer, question mark. Yeah, I believe it is a Mongoose, dude. Yeah. From 1 to 10, how many do you give to the figure, says Juan Lopez. Juan, I would say there are kind of minus marks here, in my opinion. So it's not going to be a full-on 10 out of 10. It gets a 10 out of 10 for deco. I love the deco. I think that's gorgeous. And the figure itself is a very good, highly articulated, brilliant upgrade of Snake Eyes. So there are points there too. But there's a lot of things here that bother me, and it's things like the bendy like accessories. Now it's only the sheath and the sword. I don't know. Everything else is perfect, and it all seems to be made of similar durometer as well. It's all made of like that kind of similar wobbly stuff. So I don't know. That particular discrepancy though is really disappointing, because that is the sword that I wanted to display him with, but I can't display him with a sword that does this. I just can't. What I can do is obviously try to, like bend it and keep it in place, and hope that I can restore it to a straight kind of edge. The backpack is difficult at the moment. It's not going. See, it's like really. Look, see that? It just popped out there where I was talking. So the backpack still has the same problem on this figure, as you'd expect it would do. They're not going to, if they haven't changed anything about it, which I don't think they would. It would be like such a minor thing to try and fix, and you would have to kind of completely change the tooling. So I kind of understand why it is the same as the original figure. The backpack just does not stay in very well. So that's a problem. And what else would I say? And then there's two discrepancies as well with the paint mark on the back, which isn't, like a scratch almost, and the what was the other thing I know? Oh, with the split on the silencer, that kind of interesting little kind of error on the silencer kind of thing. So there are a few down marks, unfortunately, which is a shame, because I was really excited for this one, and I feel like it's I feel like the sword is the main issue for me. He stands up perfectly well, great balance. I mean, the figure's lovely, the design's wicked, and the deco's sensational. But I would have to probably say, based on all the other things that I just mentioned, and I love the Tampo. That new Tampo is really cool too. I would have to say overall, probably 7.5 out of 10. Loses a few, like I said, loses some points for some of those kind of like lingering issues. But like I said, the figure is so good and the deco is so cool that, you can kind of get over a lot of that. But that is Snake Eyes, Desert Commando Snake Eyes, and the Crimson Viper. Which, and funny enough, I did kind of choose these to do together, because when Desert Commando Snake Eyes images kind of emerged on whatever that live stream was at Yojo June, in one of his shots was a Crimson Viper, and they were kind of like put together as, in like a desert situation. So I was very surprised when they revealed that the Crimson Viper's box art was not desert at all, but like a random airfield with extensive enterprises in the background. So yeah, I thought they were kind of trying to like merge the two narratives together a little bit, the two figures together in the same narrative. But anyway, nice couple of repaints, not going to lie. The Viper is, a solid figure anyway, and don't have the same kind of issues that plagued other versions of the Viper. Like we've got the neckerchief back, perfect. We've got the what you call the backpacks is solid and not moving anywhere. But then again, I might be misremembering that my other Viper had that issue with the backpack. But effectively, it's just a really nice repaint, a really nice redo of the Viper mold, and I love that color. So yeah, all in all, this is an absolute winner. With Snake Eyes, of course, love the figure in general anyway, love the deco, love the orange, love the use of the kind of kit bash of the different, their body with the different head sculpt, all very nice stuff. But we do have a few issues with this Snake Eyes. And unfortunately, that bendy sword is just so annoying to me. Again, like huge disappointment because I really wanted to display him with that sword. And the fact that the backpack is just not wanting to cooperate in that backpack hole, because effectively you've got the secondary bandolier, and you've got a kind of like another secondary over, like, that kind of chest piece, which is a separate piece as well, that it has to go through in order to go into the backpack peg hole. So I think the backpack peg should either be a bit longer, or they should kind of get the sizing right on that so that it sticks in and it stays in. Straps would have been perfect, wouldn't they? Or you make the secondary part of the backpack, so you put the secondary on and it's on there. That might be a better way to go in the future. But it's still a cool figure. I'm just so sad about that sword. Look how bendy it is. Oh, what a bummer. And it's so cool as well. Look at the orange on it. I love that kind of like that orange half of the sword. It's so cool. But look at that. Ah, bummer. Anyway, because that's the thing. That is not the same as the sword. We've had that sword so many times. I wonder if it's got anything to do with the kind of plastic they need to use in order to get that effect or that color. I don't know. But it's weird that the sheath should also be the same as well. And they're not actually, they weren't together. They weren't inserted. It wasn't like the sheath did the damage to the sword. They were two separate pieces in the bag, and they just both happened to be bent completely over. And they weren't being affected by anything in the bag either. Like they weren't like wrapped around something or awkwardly pressed against something. So this must have happened prior to being put in there. They must be quite bendy. Have your swords been like that for this figure? I don't know. So weird. Anyway, like I said, still love it based on the deco and the figure though, and he can get away with just being displayed like so. So there you go. We'll kind of bring the show to a close and have a little bit more discussion. So let's just do the transition anyway, because I like it. Luke Poulon says, love this repaint. I'll hold up the figure as I'm talking about it. Love this repaint. It makes sense to me, but my only gripe is that he has ninja shoes instead of combat boots, which should be more appreciated in the desert. Boots like the Snake Eyes that came with the white timber. Yeah, that's true, actually. But yeah, again, it would have taken a bit more. But you're right, actually. Yeah, I think that would have been a better idea to kind of like do a bit more kit bash change. Maybe they did look at that, and logistically it didn't work based on where certain parts were being used and so on and so forth. So maybe it was a logistical decision in the end, Luke. But I think you're right. I think combat boots would make more sense in a desert mission scenario. People still saying mongoose, but now Figure Six Pack says maybe a honey badger, and probably not a mongoose. Tampo, is this what happened last time? Did I say mongoose and you said honey badger, and that's when I changed? I can't remember. But mongoose makes sense because they kill snakes. Do honey badgers do? I'm going to look at a honey badger image and see what it looks like. Honey badger. I don't think that's a honey badger. No, it looks nothing like a honey badger, unfortunately. But it does actually look like a mongoose, having put that in here. Oh, or maybe not. Maybe they do look like the same friggin' animal. Oh no, it does look like, it does have that kind of vibe. Interesting. It doesn't look like either of them. So maybe it's none of the above. I think I asked Lenny this question ages ago. I'm just going to go and see. I'm going to have a look to see if he responded. Well, he did respond, but what he responded with, the information is what I'm getting at. Let's have a look. It's going to be a long way back, isn't it? Because it was a while ago. Okay, here we are. Here we are. Maybe I didn't ask him. We did talk about it, but I don't think I asked him genuinely what it was. No, I didn't, did I? What an idiot. Maybe I'll just ask Lenny and see what he says. If he gets back to me live, great. If he doesn't, then, I'm a loser, but whatever. I'm just seeing if I've written a question about it after the fact. Lots of messages. I bother him a lot, actually. This is bad. And it's usually, what's that? What's that? What's that? So it's not annoying at all. What animal is on Snake Eyes patch? Desert Snake Eyes patch, just so we're clear. Please. Asking for friends. Asking for everyone on the stream right now going, can we just look at the figures that you've been unboxing? Asking for viewers. Lols. He might get back to me. If not, no problem. Anyway, here they are. Here are the figures I've been enjoying. We'll come back to that. So at the moment, the money is on. We've got Honey Badger or Mongoose. That's what the big money's on. It'd be funny if he came back and he was like, yeah, it's none of them, mate. It's a weasel or something. My Snake Eyes version 2 classified had an ab crunch that got super loosey goosey. He just flops over now. Do you think that is now fixed? Your version 2 classified. Snake Eyes version 2. So would that have been the retail version? The all black version? Or do you mean the Snake Eyes and Timber or the Alpha Commandos one? Because there's like so many now, and I don't know what was second. The first one was Deluxe, 00. The second one was effectively was the, but it's the same version. So I'm guessing you mean the different version, which would have been, okay, first retail, I was right. Okay, so I see what you're saying. See, this is where it gets confusing with classified because we haven't really broken them down like Yo Joe used to break them down yet. So it's like a version 2, we've got a version 2 Firefly, but how confusing is that when it's version 1 inspired? So you have to be really specific now with classified figures. It's like vintage inspired or classified reimagined or, Cobra Island roadblock is what we have to say when we talk about that version roadblock, because version 2 was the version 1. See how confusing that gets? So, okay, the first retail one, the all black one, I wasn't sure. I haven't had that issue, but I might not have played with it as much as you have, Mark, because I do know you like to play with it a lot. Don't know how common an issue that was, or just me. It might have been a common issue. I literally posed mine and never touched them again. So probably not the worst. Probably not the best person to ask, not the worst, but I'm the worst person to ask in that sense. They may have been bent when the bag gets curled and stuffed in the Foot Locker box, possibly. But when I opened it, it didn't feel like like it was outstretched and it was in the space comfortably. And when I opened the bag, it wasn't like it was. I don't know. I mean, it has to have been done at some point, and that is a good chance. It's a good chance that it would have happened when they closed the bag in a certain way and it's been pressed in there. Maybe it's been wrapped around the backpack, kind of stuffed in there sideways or something. That's a possibility, and I'll go with that one. I've been finding that all the newest characters have been coming with flimsy weapons. As much as I love them all, I feel like they've cut back on budget again. I'd rather get less and better QC. I don't think that's a QC thing. I think that's a decision they've made because it's a cheaper alternative. And now that it's like not really working out, that's something they're going to have to go back and change. But in terms of the budget, I think it's going up, Death Valley Machine, because there's more figures are being produced. And they can't do that on the budget they had in the like previously. Like the amount of stuff they're churning out, it's more likely that you're going to get issues like that than not, no matter how much budget you've got. Got build for Mindbender last night. Let's go. Nice one, Flaffle. Happy for that. Is Fortnite Snake Eyes given a number figure 6-pack? No, he is not. Talking Joe, Thomas has been playing with it a lot. Oh, your son's been playing with it. Okay, no worries, Mark. I get it. I get it, but you really as well. Maybe even in the bath. Was that you, though, or Thomas? Version FN, says Flaffle. Yeah, that's a good idea, actually. That's how we have to break it up now. But he is the only figure with the ab crunch flop out of all the classified figures. I mean, yeah, there are certain issues that are bound to happen that you can't really accommodate for. Like, you may have tested and tested and tested, but you didn't expect this thing to really kind of happen or be a problem. And then it happens, and then you have to go back and you have to change things. So, yeah, maybe a helpful mouse will fix it, or as long as it doesn't die in a box light that you have somewhere. Just take that sword to one of your lights during tomorrow's unboxing. That'll straighten it out. Yeah, that's actually true. Probably would do. Death Mally Machine said, well said, just meant lower budget for weapons. I get what you mean, dude. Totally. I think, yeah, like I said, I think they've probably decided to use a certain plastic because it was cheaper, but now that there's an issue, they're going to have to backtrack a little bit. No response as yet from the wonderful Lenny, so I'll let you know if I hear back. Haven't heard anything about the hiss lately. Still think we'll get it before Halloween, says Ryan. I would imagine it will probably ship in October, but I didn't expect to hear anything until it ships. I don't think they're gonna like reveal that it's going to ship and then look out for your shipping notifications. I think we'll just get the email, and I've been expecting it in October anyway. That was my kind of not prediction, but my expectation. I don't think anywhere, anytime before October is likely. Of these two figures, which do you like more? It's interesting you say that, because as more like the Viper is definitely more solid in terms of like it's like a win across the board, but it is just a repaint. It's like a figure we've had multiple times, so there's not like a crazy wow factor there necessarily. But with Snake Eyes, yes, it's a figure we've had lots of times, but I much prefer the deco. I much prefer the action figure as an action figure. The only problem is there are too many little elements that kind of take away from it. So for me, it's weird, isn't it? It's a weird thing. Like, what do I prefer more? It's either the figure we've had lots already that is absolutely a solid winner and hasn't got any issues, really. It doesn't have any issues. I can't really find any issues with it, other than it's already been out a number of times in different colors. This one has issues with it. It has been out multiple times, but it does have elements of kit bash with the head sculpt. There's lots of new stuff in there too. But the fact that the one of the main things I was excited for was that sword, and to have him holding it and all that kind of jazz. And it's not even, I might change my mind when I fix that with a bit of heat, which I'm going to try and do. So if I fix the sword, then Snake Eyes will probably be, my favorite of the two figures. I was most excited to open this one over the Crimson Viper. But do you know what I mean? So it's kind of like, it's a hard one. Hopefully that explains exactly where my stance is with both of those figures. But that is effectively the situation that I've got with this, and that's what I'm sticking with. Yeah, cool. All right then. Well, thank you very much, guys. We'll bring that to a close now because we're over an hour now, and I want Mum and Dad to have their house back. Flaffle says Snake Eyes wins artistic, but the Viper is that old trusted comfort. Totally understand. Homework today, fix sword, and report back tomorrow. Actually, that's a great idea. I'm going to take my hairdryer when I do my hair, because I haven't had a shower again today. I'm gross, aren't I? I'm going to go and have a shower. I'm probably going to take the sword in there with me because it'll be nice and warm in there. And then I would then I'm going out to see my friends from In Demand Toys again. So yeah, we're going to be having dinner tonight with the fam. So excited to do that with the Welleses. So I'll do it when I get back, and then hopefully by tomorrow, when I get back from Norwich, I will be able to do another unboxing and do the PulseCon preview as well, and hopefully be able to report back on whether I fixed the sword or not. Is this a head sculpt repaint of the Grey Timber Snake Eyes or the retro cardback Snake Eyes, says Christopher Moody. It is the retro cardback Snake Eyes head sculpt. The Alpha Commandos one is ever so slightly different. I say ever so slightly. When you get them next to each other, the differences are actually quite considerable. So yeah, I would say it's the retro cardback one. Raw Talk Real Deal says hiss in December more likely. Prepare for a Hasbro drought in 2024. China floods and canal drought. Oh God, yeah, I heard about that. Yeah, there could be some. Again, there's always something, isn't there? There's always something that prevents the steady stream or the rhythm of the night. This is the rhythm that, rather than just like, you know, a comfortable distribution pattern. So yeah, Raw Talk Real Deal. Good shout. Good point. And I think you're probably right in maybe expecting the hiss a little later. I think my October feeling is definitely optimistic, shall we say? But you never know. You never know. Thank you, Ryan. Thanks for all the support. Really appreciate everything. Really appreciate you guys watching and enjoying the show. If you did, you might not have done. You might have just been like, please don't do this ever again. But anyway, thank you so much, guys, for joining me. Like I said, I've got lots to come. PulseCon preview, hopefully tomorrow. I'll probably have that prioritized over the unboxing, but I'll try and get both done again. 2 a days scenario. Just a reminder, no weekly on Friday, okay? We can't do one this week, just based on my availability ofs. But I will put out an all points bulletin on the socials just so everyone knows, because I know not everyone is watching this particular video. But no weekly. But like I said, there's going to be so much content still. Hopefully it will make up for that. And then next week, Pat and I will be doing effectively a reaction to PulseCon for the weekly instead. So, well, not instead, it'll be the weekly, but it will be the PulseCon reaction weekly is what it will be. Right then, I'm going to go off and enjoy the rest of my day like Wilfredo has asked me to do. You be well as well, Raw Talk. Thank you, Christopher Moody, and full force to you, Flaffle. And thank you, Death Valley Machine. Have a great day yourself. I will see you guys on the next one, which is tomorrow. Have a lovely time. Have I got anything else to do? Probably loads. I'm going to do an intel for our patrons as well. I'll throw that one in there for any patrons watching at the moment. We'll be doing a Patreon intel as well while I'm in the UK. Got some absolute bangers to tell you as well. All right then, guys. Thank you so much. Stay fresh, cheese bags. And after 3, you know what to say, I hope. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, thanks to In Demand Toys as well for these figures. Full force. Bye. That's it for this installment of the Full Force News Burst. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. See you next time, and as always, full force. Make sure you get involved with the discussion by liking, sharing and commenting on these videos, and as always you can keep up with the show after listening by following on Twitter @TheFullForce, liking the Facebook page facebook.com/TheFullForce, and if you would like to contact the show you can message us on either of those platforms with feedback and questions. We also have a Patreon page, so if you want to show your support for the show, see your name up in lights on these videos, or enjoy exclusive bonus content, then check out patreon.com/TheFullForce podcast, or click on the link on any of the posts this podcast appears in. Full Force.